Hey there foodies, welcome back to my channel. Today I have something sweet for you, a delicious rum and raisin bread pudding. Let's get into it. First thing I have here is some bread. So guys, I had some bread in the freezer, some cocoa bread, some hot dog buns, some burger buns, and all I did was break it up into pieces after I thawed it out. That's it. Usually I use Jamaican hardough bread, but I didn't have that and I wanted to use them up, and I measured with this cup right here. Alright, so after we break that up, we're going to be making our flavorful custard. This is what we're going to pour over our crumbled bread. It's basically milk, eggs, and then some delicious flavorful ingredients. Make sure you whisk all of these ingredients together properly because you want everything to come together. So once you pour it over the bread, you don't have one part of the bread pudding salty and the other part not salty. Just mix everything properly. I will be using 3 large eggs and an extra yolk. That extra yolk just adds even more richness to the mixture. There are times when I will butter the slices of bread and then cube them, but if I'm doing this method where I break up the bread, then I just add melted butter to the mixture. It just adds some flavor to the whole thing. You know, butter makes everything nice, right? I will be using brown sugar because I find that it just has a much deeper flavor, and I like the color that it gives to the bread pudding as well. Use whatever sweetener you want to, but I love to use my brown sugar for this. I will be using a greased baking dish for this. If you just have a cake tin, it's fine. It works in that as well. I just like to use a baking dish. So I just greased it with a little bit of butter, and then we are going to start our little layering process. First, we're gonna put in some of the bread, maybe a third of that crumbled bread. Just spread it out so that you have a nice even layer. And then after that, we will sprinkle on some raisins, some cherries, and you don't have to use this, guys. I love raisins and I like cherries sometimes in the bread pudding. You don't have to add it. If you don't love this, just leave it out. All right, because that custard liquid that you have has a lot of flavor in it. So if you leave these out, it'll be okay. You'll still enjoy your bread pudding, but I like to taste the raisin in there. So after you add that, then pour some more bread over that So this is another third of that bread, that crumbled bread. Then we'll put more fruits and then top it off again. Once we've evened out the top layer, then we're just gonna pour that lovely flavorful custard liquid all over. Make sure you moisten all of the bread, especially those ones on top, because if you don't, then they will dry out in the oven and then they're gonna burn. All right, and then just gently use a spoon or whatever you have just to press them down to make sure everything is soaked, and then let this sit for about 10 minutes or even 15 minutes before we put it into the oven. Alright, it's out of the oven, guys. The top is firm, it has a nice texture to it, and then inside will be soft but sliceable. So guys, this is just some caramel syrup I had in the fridge. I simmered it with a little nutmeg and a cinnamon stick and some rum. That's it. Just a caramel syrup I had in the fridge. So this is totally optional because the bread pudding is perfect the way it is. But if you like to indulge some more, you can always drizzle this warm caramel over the bread pudding. And you could do this with each individual serving as well if you prefer. And sometimes what I do now is I just use a brush and I will brush the caramel all over the bread pudding. It's so nice. And after that, I will cut a piece and taste it, of course. I'll show you guys what the inside looks like. So here it is, guys, a nice slice. This is how I like my bread pudding, firm enough to slice but perfectly moist as well. The top has that nice slightly crunchy pieces, your raisins aren't burnt, and then the inside is just nice and smooth, and you can get some nice slices from it. You have the raisins in there and it is so flavorful, perfectly spiced, not overpowering, because I don't love it when the bread pudding is just so much spice, you know, too much cinnamon and nutmeg. This is perfectly spiced. See, you can take a look. It's nice and firm and a little tender at the same time. So give it a try, guys. I think you're gonna love this. It is really good. And remember, if you don't love raisins, you can leave it out. That's okay. Or you could even puree it and mix it into that custard. All right? So once you give this a try, remember to leave a comment and let me know how it went down. Did you like it? Did you add anything to it? Some people actually add nuts and other things, but I'm good with just raisins and sometimes some cherries. So Try this out. Let me know how you like it. And remember, guys, sharing is caring. Share with a friend or a family member so we can all cook and eat this delicious food together. Thanks again for watching, and you take care.